There's nothing worse than tooth pain. Not even so much I have tooth pain doing it, it's just more irritating than anything else. But I'm here, the microphone switched on, I'm loaded up with antibiotics and painkillers, and I'm ready to rock and roll. Well guys, welcome back to the Moore Army podcast for another episode. How you all doing out there? I'm not going to even be recording this podcast today because I've had a bloody weekend of it, trust me. Oh, why is the teeth the most painful yet annoying part of your body, in my opinion? It's an absolute nightmare. More on that in just a wee second. But anyway, yes, good morning. I'm sitting here this morning once again ready to record another episode of the Moore Army podcast for you guys. And I'm lucky, as I said, to just even sitting here this morning. But I'm here. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm here with some things to talk about today. Some interesting things to talk about today, and some things that sort of, no pun intended, make my fucking teeth itch. But I'm here. Anyway, yes guys, hello. Hope you're all keeping well out there as always. Since the last time I spoke to you last Thursday. What a hectic weekend it's been for me. With football and being in pain. Well, not a lot of pain, but just more annoying than anything else. And more. So, but anyway, yes guys, if you're new to the Moore Army podcast, if you're back to the Moore Army podcast for the first time, or you are listening to this for the first time, or whatever your situation is, if you want to get in touch with us here, as I like to always do here at the start of each podcast, do the housekeeping. If you want to get in touch with the Moore Army podcast, you can certainly do that by the following methods. You can contact us first of all by the old email address, which I love hearing from you every week, which is moorearmypodcast@yahoo.com. Also on social media, you can contact us on the Facebook page, which is Moore Army YouTube channel. Please drop a like on that page, I would appreciate it. Also on Instagram, you can contact myself there by official Matthew Moore on Instagram. And also we're on Threads. Yes, that's right, Threads, this new trending thing, some part of Instagram, whatever it is. Official Matthew Moore on Threads as well. And if you want to get yourself some Moore Army merchandise, or you want to go and check out all the vlogs and all the social media posts, just think of Moore Army Hub, which is moorearmy.co.uk. But anyway, hello, how you all doing out there? I have had one up and down weekend. So we say, up and down weekend. Since the last time I spoke to you, I was at football the weekend, which was very, very good. Actually, we were playing 2 matches in 2 days, or 2 matches in 1 day, sorry, should we say. Let's just say Saturday night was a bit of a tiring night for us, so it was just very, very tired after a long day of football. Friday night was pretty good as well. Actually, I talked to you before about, although guys, if you listen to the podcast regularly, Thursday nights I normally have a beer. I actually didn't. I sort of just tried a quiet one because I talked to you before in the podcast last week. This past week beforehand, I was just completely fucking rode off the road. I was just exhausted and drained. I don't know what the hell was wrong with me. Just physically drained after that weekend away with Lewis, away to Port Stewart, Coleraine and Portrush and stuff. But when I got to Thursday there, it was just like after recording the podcast, I was just wasn't feeling myself. Friday, I got myself back out again and had a good night on Friday night, had a really good night on Friday night. And then Saturday I went to football, but then over the weekend it was starting to feel a little bit of a, not so much a pain that's excruciating, but more of an annoying feeling in your mouth where you feel like something's working. Maybe it's going to be a toothache or whatever the hell it's going to be, and by Sunday, it was a fucking nightmare. I felt like my teeth at the very back of my jaw was starting to get really sore. I was automatically thinking wisdom teeth, which was fucking absolute nightmares. We all know about there who's ever had pains with their wisdom teeth. They are an absolute nightmare. But as I said, it wasn't an annoying, painful feeling. It was more of a someone kicking you in the crotch all the time or poking you sort of annoying sort of feeling. You know what I mean? It's just really fucking poking at me, and it was like, seriously, this thing won't go a fucking way. It's really annoying. So I got up Monday morning and I made a phone call to the dentist, and they brought me in right away, which was great. I was so appreciative of that. And the dentist, who, can I be totally honest with you, he's a bit of a dick, and I'll be totally honest with you, he is a bit of a dick, and that's just me being honest. He's so hard to deal with. So he is. I mean, a couple of years ago, guys, if you're a regular follower of my vlogs, a couple of years ago, Brooke had a really bad tooth at the very, 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 very back of her mouth. We actually put a vlog up on YouTube of all. We were at the hospital that night with her. We started off at the Belfast Giants, and she ended up in the medical room getting gas in her with paracetamol, and then she ended up getting taken to the hospital. We had to wait for 3 hours for a guy to come from fucking Ballymena to give her an injection to tie her over to the next morning until we got to the dentist. And when we got to the dentist, I always remember this, and this is where I always wanted to fucking drop kick this dentist across the freaking room. Brooke was lying on the chair squealing for Britain. I mean, that child was in absolutely excruciating pain. And it was something to do with a tooth, overgrowing a tooth or something like that anyway, and it was right at the very, 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 very back. So, I mean, if they had to remove it, you wouldn't even have seen it. But at one point, Brooke's squealing her head off, and he's looking, and he's chit-chatting away to her and all, and he's dead calm, and I never forget, he just fucking looks around at me and goes, "Should I remove the tooth, sir?" And I'm looking at him going, "You're the fucking dentist, not me. You know, if it's right at the very, very back of her mouth and it needs to go, if the tooth is fucked, take the tooth out." And he just looked at me and went, "Okay, now, let's move on." And I looked at the wee assistant girl and I went, is he like taking too much of that fucking gas? Like, is he seriously on, is he sniffing glue or something? Like, but anyway, that was a fucking whole pilarchy. But I got up to him yesterday, and he actually wasn't too bad to deal with this time. And he's a bit of a dick, like as I said, but he wasn't too, he was bearable yesterday, should we say. So I went in and seen him and explained to him what was going on, and you know, I was supposed to get a lot of work done to my mouth recently, and there was holdbacks. He was always off on the fucking sick as well, which really annoyed me as well. Every time I tried to get in for an appointment, his appointments are being cancelled because he's off on the sick again, and blah 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 blah. And he was one of them extremely over the top COVID fucking freaks. You know, one of them ones where he wouldn't leave his fucking house, and he wouldn't do. I don't even want to talk about that crap. But anyway. He came in yesterday, wasn't too bad, and he looked at my mouth and stuff, and he said to me, "Look, Mr. Moore, there's an infection in your gum. It's not, your teeth are fine. There's no issue with your wisdom teeth or nothing like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on antibiotics for 7 to 10 days, and if you need any more pain relief, just take paracetamol, and at the end of the day, come back in 7 or maybe 2 weeks' time. We'll take a look at it, and if your wisdom teeth are starting to give you bother, then we can take your wisdom teeth out." And I thought, well, that saves me a lot of grief down the road, like. But I was like, okay, so I got these fucking antibiotic tablets, which looked like fucking horse tablets. They're like horse tablets. I mean, like, literally, disaster. Took one yesterday, took one this morning. Tell you what, though, the one I took yesterday knocked me for 6. I was drained yesterday, and I was out like a light last night. I was in bed early, exhausted, tired, and this last 2 weeks or so, I have just had nothing but fucking problems, between not feeling great the week before, and then leading into the weekend, and then not feeling great again with the toothache and stuff. I just can't catch a break these last 2 or 3 weeks. And people who are, involved with me in my life at the minute with friends and stuff like that there, because I'm trying to catch up with friends and trying to spend time with other people, and they're probably thinking to myself, they're probably thinking that I'm fucking ignoring them, and I'm not really ignoring them, because I've just been drained and exhausted, and now I've got this tooth problem. So hopefully now this is getting sorted. I have had a lot of issues with my teeth over the years, guys, and I'm not going to put no bones about it. You've probably seen it in my vlogs as well. We've seen some of my teeth and whatnot over the years. I had teeth knocked out during my wrestling days. Thanks to my friend Chris for that, by the way. It was him that done it to me during a match. I've had teeth knocked out by I'll tell you a funny story. I had teeth knocked out by an elderly lady one time when I worked in the car field. It was one evening. She was one of the ones, I think I mentioned this before in the vlog, before we used to call them escapees, the one who used to try and escape from the home and down the road and whatever else, and they were starting to head towards that sort of, from care, normal old age pensioner care to what they call EMI care, which is obviously people who are starting to get like dementia and their wee minds are starting to go, which is fucking heartbreaking for anybody to see. I mean, I'd seen it happen so many times over the years, it broke my fucking heart. But at the end of the day, this lady one night, God love her, God rest her soul, she's long gone now, but she was trying to escape one night, and the girls asked me to stand at the front door and try and talk to her, because I was the only one that she would actually listen to. For some reason, male voices she reacted to more. Don't know why, but take your guess at that. But this one night, she was really starting to play up, and I was standing at the door, and I was only about what age would I have been back then? About 20? 19? About 19, 20. And I'm standing at the door, and this woman was crying for her mum, and she said she was going to see her mum, and I was trying to talk to her and calm her down, which was starting to work, and it was good, because the nurse behind me was trying to get her family member on the phone to come over to the home as well to calm her down. We'll all talk to her and stuff, and God rest her wee soul, her wee mind was starting to go and all too as well, and it was so heartbreaking to see her, being like that. And within a split second, she just looked at me and she screamed at me, "My mother!" And she just punched me. I mean, I felt like I was punched by a grown man. And it was on my left-hand side. And I remember falling back, well, not falling into the door, but sort of taking a step back and went, whoa, holy shit. And within about 10 seconds, I realised that there was something in my mouth, and I spat it out. It was my tooth. She knocked my tooth out. Right, that was one right at the very, very back. Well, the one on my left side. And obviously there's nothing I could have done about it, but again, we got her under control, we got her sorted, and it was the next day when I was doing I think it was a night shift that night, and it was the next night when I was coming in to do my night shift again, her son was there, and he came up to me and he said to me, "Look, listen, I'll pay for your dental bill to get that tooth fixed or replaced or whatever," and I was like, "Listen, don't worry about it, there's nothing you can do about it, it's grand. It's almost at the back, it's not noticeable." No, he says, "I insist," he says, "Listen, it's not fair, she knocked your tooth and all that." I was like, "Listen, don't worry about it." But tell you what, though, I fucking paid for it years later. And obviously the dead thing, I had to go and get the rest taken away and stuff like that. But and then obviously I've had a couple of other ones that just sort of fell out over the years, but I've just had nothing but fucking issues. And then I had another one taken out at the very first lockdown. If you're a regular viewer of my vlogs, you can go back and check it out. We had to travel to fucking Lisburn. That was a fucking hike. Traveling all the way down there. I was the only person on the train from Bangor to Lisburn, apart from the driver and the guard on the train, the ticket guy. This was at the very, very, very start of the first lockdown. That was the creepiest time ever. Honestly. There was nobody about. There was nobody on the platforms. There was nobody at the stops. Nobody was on that train. I remember the guard even saying to me, "You're the only person on this train right now." And I'm like, "Are you fucking serious?" And he's like, "Yeah." That was a weird time. So it was. Even watching back that vlog was fucking eerie, And even when I got to the dentist that day, the woman came in, she was like masks and shields and 2 aprons and gloves, and it was like I was going into a fucking Frankenstein laboratory to get my fucking head executed off me. And here's another funny story. When it comes to the dentist, when they try and inject my mouth, it's an absolute nightmare. They have to multiple inject me with the freezing stuff to freeze your mouth with, because to be quite honest with you, it takes a lot to freeze my freaking mouth. That one day she had to inject my mouth 8 times to try and freeze it. 8 fucking times, because I could still feel what she was doing. Finally, they said, okay, well, this is the last one we're going to give you. You're not going to, if this doesn't happen anymore, we're going to have to send you to hospital. And I was like, oh shit. So the last injection did work. The girl was literally sitting on fucking top of me to get it out. She got the tooth out, and that was the end of it. But the plan was, guys, to get my teeth fixed. I know I'm not going to be one of these ones that goes off to fucking Turkey and pays $5,000 to get his teeth all looking fake, and you can barely speak with them, because I've seen people having their teeth all done after this, and when you're speaking to them, it sounds like they've got a fucking lisp. It's weird. You see people getting all these big fake teeth put in, and then they're all like, all of a sudden they were speaking normal, and now they're sounding like this because they speak with their teeth, their teeth. What the fuck? No, sorry. No. My dentist had all these different ones he was going to fix for me, and I wanted to get it done. I've seen people going to fucking Turkey recently getting their teeth and all done and all that or jazz. I don't do all that crap. But I am going to get them fixed, because, guys, at the end of the day, you know, like, my dad had a lot of problems with his teeth when he was growing up, and I watched my dad suffer. I mean, I have, guys, there's been nights, I'm not going to tell you a bullshit story here, like, but there's been nights where I've had extreme tooth pain, like, where it's been extremely bad, you know what I mean? And, you know, there's nothing worse than a fucking tooth pain, trust me. There's been nights, even when I was younger, pacing the floors at 2 and 3 in the morning. There's been times where, like, for example, one time me and Lewis were away to Liverpool. I always remember the vlog I done years ago. We went to a Liverpool game, and we stayed in this place over by Everton's ground. I mean, it was like a themed hotel, and there was Liverpool and Everton rooms, and the fuckers put us in an Everton room. Yeah, that night, Lewis will vouch for this story, I was on my hands and knees in fucking excruciating pain. I mean, I've never felt pain like that in my life with a toothache. And that's the one that had to finally get torn out. But there's nothing worse than a toothache. And then one time as well, I had that tooth out at Lisburn. It was it the Lisburn one, or was it another one? I had a broken tooth taken out from the back from the wrestling days. That's what it was. The tooth that was knocked out during the wrestling days. They had to take the remaining stuff away because it was giving me a niggly feeling. I ended up with dry socket, it's called afterwards. There's nothing worse than fucking dry socket. It's the worst feeling ever. Trust me. So I always brush my teeth every day, and I always encourage my kids to brush their teeth every day. And again, it's my fault for obviously not addressing the issues that happened over the years between having teeth knocked out and obviously the wrestling days and whatever else. So, guys, anybody out there who has any issues with your teeth, I was always afraid of the dentist. Listen, screw it. See, once they freeze you, you don't feel a thing. Trust me, get it sorted. It's nothing worse in the world than having fucking tooth pain. Trust me, it rips your ass apart. It is so sore. It's unreal. But at the moment, as we're speaking this morning on the podcast now, I'm feeling okay. I'm not too bad. I'm still a wee bit of a pressure. It's not painful, but hopefully these antibiotics cleared up, and then I can go back to the dentist in a week or two, and they can confirm that everything's okay. And eventually, you know yourself, guys, anybody who's older listens to this podcast, you know yourself, once you get to the point of a certain age, your wisdom teeth obviously have to go. I was talking to Mum actually last night about it on the phone, or yesterday, sorry, on the phone, and she said she lost her wisdom teeth. She was quite lucky her wisdom teeth came out. And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah, I was quite lucky. Like, my dad had a load of problems with his teeth. My dad had so many issues since he was a kid with his teeth, and he looked after them and stuff, but they just kept either falling apart or breaking. And I remember seeing my dad growing up with a lot of fucking tooth pain, and eventually he ended up getting all his teeth taken out, and he got false teeth put in, like fitted into his mouth. And he said it's the best thing ever. He says no pain, no issues, no worries. He said it's the best thing he ever done. He just went in and got the bits and bobs that needed to be done, and it's the best thing he ever done. So, but no, guys, honestly, the tooth pain's a fucking nightmare. And at the moment, I said to start this podcast, I'm lucky I'm even sitting here today recording this podcast, because it's just, I got up this morning, took me out my horse tablet or antibiotic, and I thought, right, I'll get that into me. I'll get my painkillers into me, and I'll let it settle for an hour or two, and then I'll get up and I'll try and do this podcast, because I got to go to football tonight as well with Lewis. So as well, and tomorrow night too. Fucking 2 matches in 2 nights. Long out heck. But anyway, yes, guy, apart from that, or what else have I been up to? On Sunday, I ended up being over in Ards trying to get painkillers and or bits and pieces before I went to the dentist. We also stopped off at the MOT centre with Dad. Dad's car was getting MOT'd. I've got some footage for a vlog, guys, that I want to show you. I've got a couple of days worth of footage for vlogs that I haven't even put up. Because I've been just wiped out between being tired and run down, and it's just one thing after another. I need to get myself back on track and give myself a shake. So anybody who are friends of mine, I know some of my friends and stuff, or people who I have in my life right now are listening to my podcast. I apologise to you guys because I have just been literally fucking this last 2 weeks. Honestly, I just can't catch a break. So I can't. But the bonus about these antibiotics is at the minute it's actually giving me a good night's sleep, which is great. Okay, what have I got for you to talk about in the podcast today? Well, we're going to be talking more about the bank situation. We were talking about that last week, about cash possibly being scrapped in the future. We've got more to talk about. Some of you keep asking about this still to this day, especially after everything that happened last week about Hugh Edwards coming out with the whole BBC scandal going on. There is a breaking story coming out this last couple of days about the BBC licence fee, which a lot of you will be happy to hear about. Also, we're going to be talking about Argos, the UK retailer Argos, which are apparently going to be shutting some of their stores. Sleepy Joe Biden's been in the news again. Jesus, man, that man's fucking wired to the moon. We've also got Gary Lineker in the news once again, talking about this heat wave that is going across Europe at the minute, and apparently it's heading towards the UK here in the next couple of weeks. Wish it would hurt my head here because I need some bloody. I'm sick of looking at this bloody rain, so I am. I'm sick of looking at rain. It's really starting to do. And a couple of other things I want to talk about on the podcast today as well. So just a few wee things I want to talk about today. What's been going on over the last couple of days since the last time I spoke to you. Okay, let's get first into it, guys. I asked you last week on the podcast about what your view is on cash being stopped in the UK, or in general, just cash being stopped as a method of payment, and it being now all about cards and bank transfers and PayPal and all this nonsense you do online. And a lot of you have got back to me about it and saying that some people prefer still to pay cash, and some of you actually made a good valid point about this, which actually I agree with. A lot of the older generation, including my mum is one of them, actually prefer to have cash instead of paying card, because some people are still a bit skeptical about using card payments and stuff like that. I've tried to explain this to my mum so many times about this and saying to her, like, Mum, this is what you have a card for now. You can use it. Oh, but I don't know what I'm spending and all, blah, blah. Well, then download the banking app onto your phone. Oh, no, you can't. No, say I get my phone stolen or lost it. Here's the thing. My banking app recently upgraded itself to the point where it has to do face recognition, PIN codes, and other security things you have to pass to do certain things with your bank. For example, if you want to get into your banking app, you got to log into it and put your PIN number and stuff in that you've saved for the app, not your actual PIN number for the ATM machine, your actual PIN number you've set up for that. If I want to do certain things like transfer money or pay a bill or whatever, it's asking me for face recognition. And I have to do certain things in that face recognition for them to recognise me as that. So there's a lot more security things put into place now for banking apps. But trying to explain that to my mum is like literally talking to the picture on my wall. Honestly, she's just so old school. And this is the point I'm trying to make here, guys, that the older generation are preferring still to pay cash. You know, they always do. And I'll give you an example. Old school. That years ago when I worked in retail, I used to get the older ones used to come in all the time. Old people from the generations of the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and all coming into me now in their 60s and 70s years of age and saying, you know, how much do you get discount on that if I pay cash? Or it's like, it doesn't matter if you pay cash or not, you're still not getting discount on it. You know what I mean? But people still prefer to pay the method of cash. That's the point I'm trying to make. And this story going around at the minute at a party, they're thinking about cancelling cash as a method of payment, is frustrating a lot of the older generation. And I completely understand that, because there's a lot of people out there who are prefer to pay cash than pay card and pay everything else. So there's a story has just come out there over the last couple of days or so. The Commonwealth Bank has scrapped cash withdrawals and deposits across many of its branches. The Commonwealth Bank has opened several cashless branches where customers will not be able to access their own money over the counter. Cash transactions are unavailable at branches including the Commonwealth Bank's. It's nice as in Australia, by the way. I'm on here because it is going to be a worldwide thing. Most of their branches all across are now doing that, and also other UK branches in the UK. Main banks, the likes of NatWest, Barclays, etc., are considering doing this move as well. In the past, it says here, other customers have limits they can lift amount of money in their ATM machines across the UK, which I have as well, because my bank only lets me lift £300 a time per day, which is understandable for obviously security purposes and stuff like that there. There's now a petition going around the UK at the moment for other banks not to take part in this. There's over 200,000 signatures at the moment from people stating that they do not want to see a cashless society. Now, I did do recent research there as well, guys, that apparently only 21.9% of people in the UK actually use cash now. It's all mostly payments, which the world moves, it evolves, and you know yourself, guys, I use my card every day. Like every day if I'm going to Tesco's or I'm going to the shops or whatever, I use my card. I use my card to, buy stuff online and things like that there. And the thing about it is as well, I try to explain this to Mum once again as well, even if you're buying something online with your card, most companies now ask you to approve it through your app. So if someone tries to buy something, say they steal your card and try and use it, now most banks now ask you to go onto the online banking to confirm that it's used before the purchase actually goes through. Like, for example, I was purchasing stuff online yesterday, and it asked me to go into up here, and then my app popped up on my phone saying you have to approve this payment. Someone's trying to use your card, blah, 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 blah. Had to go through all the security, go into the banking app to secure that it was me, which is good in a way because obviously it secures you. But the point is, people out there still want to prefer to pay cash. See, I was brought up in a way in life where if you wanted something, you save for it. Unfortunately, I got myself into a situation where when I was married at the time, I got myself into a lot of debt, which I always shouldn't have, but it's a large story for another fucking day. But I've got all that cleared and all now, and I'm starting to rebuild myself again though, which is great. But if I want something bad enough, guys, you've seen me in my vlogs, I buy all this stuff, and you see me buying it, and all people say to me all the time, I even get trolls all the time saying to me, well, where'd you get the money for this and all? If I want something, I save for it. I only spend when I need to, especially in the fucking environment we live in now, where everything's so expensive, it's unbelievable. But the point of the story is, banks in Australia now are taking it, other banks in Europe as well, and now some banks in the UK are considering doing this as well. And again, as I said to you at the start of this, obviously topic, that you guys have been in touch with me about it and saying, I was reading a couple of your emails about it, saying like your mum and dad who are from the older generation prefer cash. Some people from this generation even still prefer to have cash as well. But then a lot of places you go to now as well don't take cash payments anymore. Give you an example. I was in the train station in London there 2 weeks ago. I was trying to buy a coffee before I went for the train to go to the airport to go home. They said, sorry, no cash payments. A couple of shops we went into in London, tried to go in to pay for things. Sorry, we don't take cash. You know what I mean? So some places are now starting to think cash is a thing of the past now. So, but if you want to tell me what you think about this here, send me an email, roararmypodcast@yahoo.com, or send me a message on social media what you think about this cashless society. Is it a thing of the future? From what I can read here, it looks like it is going that way. Anyway, yes, guys, moving on. BBC are in the news again. Obviously, we're talking about the whole scandal last week about Hugh Edwards and the whole thing going on about him. And a lot of you have been touching me about this here and asking me to go on to a rant about it. But again, there's no point because I've had a lot of hate mail from it as well. I knew this was going to happen, and I kind of knew it was going to happen. People were contacting me. I remember reading a couple of the messages on Instagram and all saying that I should be ashamed of myself for what I said in the podcast last week. Guys, you know me, I don't give a shit. I say what I have to say. And I said my piece about it last week. You want to go back on last week's podcast and listen to what I had to say about the whole Hugh Edwards situation, about the BBC scandal, about paying a 17-year-old 35 grand for explicit images of a sexual nature. Go back and listen to it. I'm not going to repeat myself again on the podcast, but again, I knew from the moment I put the podcast out I was going to get hate from it, and to be quite honest with you, I don't care. It's my opinion. Everybody has an opinion on this podcast. I even ask you guys for your opinion, which I love hearing. So this is the whole point of this podcast, is for debate. But anyway, back onto the BBC. BBC licence fees. Now, we've been talking about this for a long time on the podcast. About licence fees and, should they be scrapped? People refuse to pay their TV licence. I've even had people contact me on the podcast as well saying that they don't pay their TV licence anymore because they feel it's funding a organisation which is full of corruption, which I kind of agree. But again, everybody has their own opinions on it. I did explain to you there a few weeks ago, guys, how if you feel you don't need a TV licence, how to confirm that to them. I even told you how to do it. What website to go on to. Sorry, my Google Home in the background's pinging for some reason. How to go on and do that. What your situation is, how to deal with the situation about yourself with the licence fee and stuff. But they're back in the news this week again about the licence fee review, as it blames an increase recently of over 500,000 people have snubbed their TV licence. They're not paying it no more. The BBC has attributed the drop in Britain's paying the licence fee with the cost of living crisis. They said they're going to now try and drive up the content on their platforms, and they said the reason why it's like that now is because of the cost of living crisis and all, and they're saying about, there's a possibility it could increase again. But guys, by 2027 it's due to be reviewed, to be scrapped, and there's a lot of people in Parliament at the moment who are now demanding that the licence fee is scrapped, and BBC, if they want to try and earn money, they go more for a subscription service, which a lot of channels are doing now. So there's ministers this week talking about it in Parliament. The renewed date for the licence fee to continue on is 2027, but there's talk about maybe even being scrapped beforehand, because there's a lot of people now are cancelling their TV licence and not refusing to pay it now. It's not even just TV licence, guys. You think about it really when in the long run. If you've got Sky TV in your home, you're paying near the guts of £100 a month for Sky. Then you're paying your money for your TV licence. Then if you have Netflix, then if you have Amazon Prime or any other sources, well, you're paying an absolute fucking fortune to watch TV. And there's a whole big debate going on here at the minute as well. It says here, so I'm just looking through the wee story here in front of me here. It says the licence fee faces its biggest increase for 20 years in April next year. The annual payment at the minute for a TV licence stands at £159, which we all know that there is, and it is set to rise by 8.2% to £172. TV licences they're trying to raise it, but again, there's people in Parliament who are arguing with each other and saying that it should be scrapped. £172 a year to watch TV, and there's people out there who don't even watch Sky, or people out there just watch YouTube and watch Netflix, which they pay a subscription for, and Amazon Prime and things like that. We've talked about this for months, guys, and again, if they're considering raising this again, honestly, there's going to be a lot of heads to fucking roll for that, to be quite honest with you, and I think there'll be more people now who will cancel their licence even more. And I that's just my opinion on it. And again, I hear from you guys all the time about it, especially with all the crap that's been coming out lately about the licence fee, by all these BBC scandals and all coming out, and people are just literally had enough and they're not paying it no more. And speaking of BBC morons, yeah, they brought out the highest paid people in BBC there last week, I think it was, I saw it. And the amount of money some of them people are getting is absolutely fucking horrendous. I wish I was getting half of their wages, to be quite honest. But listen to this here. Gary Lineker is in the news again. BBC guy who gets away with murder. One of the probably the highest paid presenter on the whole fucking network. He took a pay cut 2 years ago or last year of what was it, like £100,000 or something like that. That's really going to affect his life, like. But he's in the news again because we'll move into the next story, guys, today, which is about the heat wave, which is supposed to be coming to the UK very, very soon. Everybody has seen it all over the news. Probably you probably saw it on social media as well, all across Europe at the minute. The fucking heat's going mad. Why us here in the UK and Ireland are getting lovely, typical July weather, which is rainfall. Lovely. But anyway, yes, there's been weather going all across Europe at the minute, and everybody's complaining. Well, there's some people complaining. Most people are fucking loving it because they're going on their holidays and they're getting 35 and 40 degree heat. They're loving it. But some people are not liking it. The wee minority of people are saying, oh, it's global warming, it's to do with just oil, and it's to do with all this crap. Gary Lineker's in the news. Blames oil drilling for 46 degree European heat wave. Really? I'll read this wee story to you. Gary Lineker has blamed Europe's recent heat wave on oil drilling as the former footballer launched yet another social media rant. How is this guy still in a fucking job? He should have been sacked a long time ago. Gary Lineker, 62 years of age now. I can't believe he's 62. I remember him playing football like it was history. Shared an image of soaring temperatures across the continent. It showed how Mercury hit 46 degrees in Spain, and Italy 42, in Greece and 40 in France. The Match of the Day host also words, yeah, it's a bit not, but it's a bit too much for summer. Let's keep drilling for new oil. Who cares about our kids and our kids' futures anyway? He goes on here and rants and says, oh, there's Gary, who's paid $1.35 million last year for his job in the BBC, which we pay for with paying fucking TV licence fees, is also blamed for recent oil drilling, which is causing the European heat wave. For the love of fucking Christ. It's a summer. It's called the summer. Oh, Jesus, man. That's why everybody leaves the UK and Ireland and everywhere else to go abroad to get heat and get beaches and nice holidays and all. You know, like we're currently sitting here at the minute and it's fucking pissing down and it's the middle of July. Normally this time of year I'm away to holiday with the kids and we're going on holiday very, very soon. And, you know, we're normally away on holiday and, like, what the fuck? It's like normally 25, 30 degree heat, which is the summer. These morons are literally living on our planet. It's like these just oil fucking morons are going around still at the minute doing all their crazy shit. Like that woman who, I saw it in the news last night, this woman who done all that, interrupted your man's wedding last week and threw the orange confetti over the middle, is saying she's all for saving the planet, but she's just fucking jet-setted halfway across the world to some exotic country to sit for 3 weeks. And they said that the amount of travelling she's done in the jet was equivalent to a diesel car doing 20,000 miles. Hypocrites. Gary, son, you played in warm weather when you played in Spain. When you played for Barcelona. You also played in the 1986 Mexico World Cup, which was excruciating heat. You played in the 1990 World Cup, which was warm as well. The 1988 European Championships you played in as well, which was warm. But you played in Spain, which was always in the fucking 30s all the time. But you were there with Barcelona in the summertime as well. So, you know, what is the fucking difference? Okay, we're getting a bit more heat, but he's blaming oil drilling for the heat wave. Some of these people live on another fucking planet. They really, really do. Gary Lineker is a moron, so he is. Moving on from that, High Street, guys. Anybody out there who shops in Argos? We all probably do shop in Argos. I shop in Argos quite regularly. I buy a lot of stuff out of Argos, like knickknacks for the house and bits and bobs and the occasional memory card for computers or cameras or whatever else. But Argos now are dealt with a major blow as Argos is set to close 100 stores, with 7 shutting next month, which is quite a sad really thing because, God, I remember years ago growing up as a kid. Everybody remembers Argos here in the UK when you were growing up as a kid, and in Ireland as well, where you had, you know, Christmas time, for example, you used to sit with the Argos catalogue and go through all the stuff when you were a kid and look at all this different stuff and go, God, I'd love to have that, and you know, that there looks cool and that looks awesome and stuff like that. And they even used to have a competitor which was called Index. Any of you older ones out there who used to listen to who listened to the podcast, Index and Argos used to be like sort of similar to each other, but they used to, well, I didn't really compare, but I used to compare it because I used to get their both catalogues and go, well, if I could ask mum and dad for that for Christmas, but hold on, it's cheaper in Index. And I would like say, you know, I used to go into the magazine, the Argos catalogue and the Index catalogue years ago to look at the likes of wrestling figures, action figures, Subbuteo. I used to go in there all the time and look at the Subbuteo stuff and all too as well when I used to play Subbuteo back in the day. But again, Argos is it's one of them stores you always look at for like things that you need. Go and check Argos, see if they have it. You know what I mean? And it's come out here now. A really wee statement here. It says here, the high street has been dealt with yet another major blow as Argos is set to close 100 stores. A total of 7 branches will shut down next month as the company looks to expand its presence in supermarkets. Now, we all know it's part of the Sainsbury's brand at the minute. Argos are the same company as Homebase, by the way, in case anybody there doesn't know. I found that out whenever I worked for Homebase years ago. Argos are part of the Homebase range as well. But Argos is now, which is owned now by Sainsbury's, pulled the shutters up at 45 stores in the last 12 months. However, the retail manager opened 25 branches in Sainsbury's supermarkets. Now, the one here in Bangor, where I live, is inside of Sainsbury's, and it's handy and it's great. It's just there on your doorstep, and it's awesome. You just go in, you get what you need to get, and away you go. It's great. It says here there's stores closing at the minute in Grimsby in England, Scunthorpe, and more stores to close across the month of August as well, which is quite sad. There's also been anybody who lives in the mainland England. There's been stores are scheduled for Riverside in Norwich, Bridgend in Cardiff Bay, and Cardiff's Newport Road. Stores have also already shut across Coventry, Nottingham, York, Lancashire, and Birkenhead. The Birkenhead store. Fuck, I'm in Birkenhead all the time when I'm over at Liverpool. But yes, guys, what's your memories of Argos as a kid growing up? Anybody in the UK here who grew up in the Argos era, you know, Christmas time as a kid, and you know, it's just one of them places just handy to have. You know, if you ever need something for your home, you know, it has everything, pretty much. You know, but again, what's your view on me? I'm a regular shopper of Argos. I have an Argos card, and you know, I would use it for different things that I need around the house and stuff like that. So, what's your view on that there? So apparently they're due to set to close more stores, but the reason why behind it is because they're going to be moving more into supermarkets. I used to love the big massive Argos stores I used to have years ago, which was a strange one. Anyway, yes, back to our old little creepy old friend, Mr. Sleepy Joe Biden. Anybody out there see his recent visit to, where was it, Helsinki? Did anybody see it? You know, no, he was over in the UK last week, and I don't even know what fucking planet he was on last week, but did you see the recent trip he had to Helsinki, where he's a creep. He met this woman and child, and he was trying to sniff the baby's fucking hair, and he was like pretending to mess around with the baby, but trying to bite the child or whatever it was, and even the mum looked creeped out. You haven't saw the video, guys. Go online, go to YouTube and search it up. He's a creepy bastard, trust me. And he's trying to sniff the child's hair. I mean, we've all seen that before, where he's trying to sniff wee young girl's hair and all. This man, and then, as well, sorry, before I continue on, I saw this morning. He was heading up the steps onto his plane, and he stumbled over again. Like, this man is not fit for office. I've been saying this for a long time. He's a creepy bastard, and that's my opinion on it. He's just a creepy old man, and he doesn't even know what he's talking about, or the man is a complete... Oh, he needs to be put in the car. That's why I keep calling him Sleepy Joe. He needs to go into a care home. So he does. The man is not fit for office. It's just... it's worrying. It really is worrying. And when I saw that video of that woman trying to hold her child back from him, and just seeing the way he was getting on, it was like, what the fuck? I even said to Mum about it. Was it yesterday? Mum says, I haven't seen that. And then I said to her about it again, and she was like, yeah, I saw that. That's fucking creepy. I mean, I know. He's a creepy old bastard. Like, I just don't like him. He's Sleepy Joe, man. He wants to go for re-election next time. All these big billboards saying Biden for president. No, take away the P, mate. Resident needs to go to a care home. Now, I've been talking about this here for the last couple of weeks in the podcast, guys, and I've had a lot of parents contact me about this, which I'm really glad to hear about this, because this has been really starting to make my fucking teeth itch, make my piss boil. No pun intended with the teeth itching, because I've obviously had a bit of a problem with my teeth this week, but it makes my piss boil with anger. This whole crap with the schools at the minute about, you know, children going into school and saying, "Oh, I'm a dog. I'm a cat. I'm this." Really, you're a fucking child, and seeing this story really pissed me off. The story was entitled, "Teachers will be forced to refer trans children by their preferred name and pronouns." All this crap that's going on in schools at the minute really makes my fucking teeth itch. Students will be allowed to wear opposite sex uniform if both the school and parents agree. I'm sorry, what the fuck is going on in these schools? Teachers will now have to call their pupils by their preferred name and pronoun once their parents have consented according to the new guidance rules. Children will also be allowed to wear the opposite sex uniform if both the school and parents agree with the pupils' wish to socially translate. The official guidance is set to be announced next week and will include rules about the use of toilets for those who identify as a gender different to their biological sex. I'm sorry, bullshit. Look at that fucking school a few weeks ago where those young girls were attacked in the same fucking toilet because they were letting somebody else into the girls' toilets. I'm sorry, that is fucking bullshit. That's what it says here. It says here the official guidance is set to, I'll read it again. The official guidance is set to be announced next week and will include rules about the use of toilets for those who identify as gender different for the biological sex. Schools will be required to offer single occupational toilets that can be locked from the inside for the... Oh, fuck me. I can't even read the rest of this. This is making me angry. I'm sorry. Listen, they're fucking children. The things that I've seen online the last few months really have annoyed me as a parent. You know, these children going into school now and demanding stuff and telling teachers how they're going. Let me tell you something. See, in my day, I walked into the classroom and I said to a teacher, "Oh, I'm going to be this and I'm going to be that." The teacher would look at me and go, "Excuse me, you're going to be treated like everybody else. Sit in the fucking chair. You're here to be taught an education. You don't come into my classroom and tell me what to do. I'm the teacher. You're the student. End of." And we respected that as pupils. These wee fuckers are going around now and saying, "Oh, I'm a cat now. I'm a dog now. I'm this." The fuck is... This world is like, seriously, I wish today my friend who's no longer with us anymore, I wish my friend was still around today to talk about this, because we used to sit when we were kids at 15, 16. I remember these conversations well. We used to go, "Fuck me, man, what the world's going to be like in another 20 or 30 years from now?" And he went, "Oh, mate, it's crazy." I remember one Saturday night, we were sitting one night, me and him. Now, if you go onto my Instagram, guys, you'll see a photograph of me sitting on a step. A comparison picture from when we were kids till now. Obviously, he passed away in 2016. It's heartbreaking and stuff like that. I've been in that whole story before. But the point is, that in that photograph, it's me stepper. We used to hang out. That's our wee hangout spot. We remember sitting there one Saturday night, and he said to me, he goes, "You know something, man, I watched this program last night." And this is how good my memory is. I remember this conversation like it was yesterday. We were about 15, 16. In fact, we were 16. And I'll never forget this. He turned around to me one day and he goes, "Man, I remember that. I watched this program on TV last night before I went to bed. And it was telling about what the world's going to be like in 30 years from now. You know, what's going to happen in the world and what they're all saying about this and that and all." And some of the stuff he did say, obviously, like they were saying like about flying cars and all this fucking crap and whatever else. And I was like, "Yeah, right, whatever, mate." But if he was around today... Like, he's like me, doesn't hold no shit no more, calls a spade. Fuck me and him be sitting here now, laughing at the world, going, "Jesus Christ, these kids are going into school and going, oh my God, seriously, I'm a cat, I'm a dog, I'm a dinosaur, oh, I have to..." What the fuck? Like, I actually had this discussion with Brooke about a week ago, and I said to Brooke, like, "Brooke, you're 18 now. Like, you've come up in this recent... Your class, I call her a millennial, and she doesn't like it because she's a millennial. She was born after the year 2000. And I've said to her, "Brooke, what's your view on this? Like, girls and boys going around saying that they're fucking cats and dogs and, you know, going into the same sex toilets. No, Daddy, I think it's disgusting." And I would love to actually get her back on the podcast again to talk about it. I've said to her, like, "What's your view on that? Like, boys get into your toilets because they say they're like, you know..." She goes, "Dad, I have friends who are gay who you know they are," and I've talked about our gay friends before on this podcast. I've said, "Dad, they think it's disgusting, and I think it's disgusting. You know, I wouldn't have a boy in our toilets. Hell no. Whether he was wearing a dress or not, no, I think it's disgusting. Dad, no, definitely not. And I says all this crap about, identity and all, and being like saying you want to be a fucking tree or a dog or a cat. Dad, I think they're all wired to the moon. I think it's all the crap that they're watching on the internet, like TikTok and all this crap. And that's another thing too as well. I've been watching this shit the last couple of days. I've seen popping up on fucking TikTok. I went on the TikTok the other day to have a look around and stuff, because I was brought to my attention about the shop they have on there for different bits and pieces, which I was having a look on. And I came across a couple of these videos, these morons trying to brainwash fucking kids. These people need to be fucking weeded out and told to go and fucking jump, put on a boat somewhere and sent to a different planet. They're married to the fucking moon. But now all these different ones, these kids are demanding this, and they're demanding they're spoke to like this, and they won't cooperate unless they speak to you in the language of a cat. What the? I'm sorry, if my daughter and son walked in here and said, Dad, I'm now knowing myself as a dinosaur, I'd be like, what the fuck were you, what did they put in your school lunch today? Like, I've said this before, guys, I encourage my kids to be themselves. Go out. If my son and daughter were going to be more and go, Dad, I'm gay, listen, I support it, 100%. You know what I mean? And a different generation before me even would have like frowned on it and went, oh no, gay, fuck off, gay, no. Listen, I encourage my kids to be the best version of themselves, but some of the shit that these kids are being brainwashed nowadays with, which is absolutely fucking horrendous. We'll talk about this all day again. It just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on, and it pisses me off. This every single fucking week you hear something else. And a lot of these people, these woke tards, are going around saying like, oh, this is offensive, and that's another thing too about this generation of children as well. They're being told to be offended, and they're looking to be offended, and this even fucking winds me up even more. You say something now, they're all like, oh my God, you hurt my feelings. Hold on, they get you a fucking tissue. Go and cry and boo-hoo. In my day, you get up and get on with it, and that was it. You know what I mean? If you didn't like something, you didn't be part of it, or if there's a TV show on TV, you didn't watch it. You didn't sit there deliberately determined to get yourself offended so you could go online and rant about it. Hell no. You know what I mean? Okay, the world's a different place and the world moves on and all that there, but just seeing some of these things, I guess, nowadays, like asking teachers to be forced to refer the trans children by their... I have nothing against trans, gays, whatever. I'm probably going to get more hate mail for this, and I really don't give a shit. But the point is, kids nowadays are fucking overprivileged in schools nowadays, and they are so spoilt when it comes to your education now. And you're probably going to say, Albert Matthew, you sound like an old fart and all, and you're just rambling on like an old man. But at the end of the day, it's some of these ones in this generation now are easily offended. They're disrespectful. They don't care because teachers are scared to stand up to these pupils and tell them that they are the boss of the classroom, not the fucking pupil. I could go on about it all day, I'm not going to, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of kids out there who need a good swift kick up the ass and told, look, listen, you're a fucking child, you go to school for your education, you respect your teachers, you respect your principal, you respect the education authority, you get your education, and then you go from there and you go out into the world and you be the best version of yourself, whether you're gay or trans or lesbian or whatever the fuck you are. Be your own self. And that's what I teach my kids every single day of the week. I teach them every week. Be the best version of yourself. Do not imitate anybody. Just be you. Be the best version of you. But when it comes to school, as soon as you walk out that front door every morning, you walk into that door of school, you will show respect to your teachers. You will work hard. You work to the best of your ability. You give everything you have. If you're struggling with anything, speak up. If you need help, speak up. Just be the best version of you and don't let anybody tell you any different. Simple as. I try and get my kids to go through a better school life than what I did, because I went through a fucking hell of a school life between the bad bullying and all the stuff and all the struggles that I had as a child. But these wee fuckers are going in there and saying like, oh, I will not answer you unless you talk to me like a cat. Like, what the fuck planet do these kids live on? Anyway, I'll end the subject on this here, but it's just... Oh, when I saw that this morning, it was like, really? Like, seriously? Oh, I don't know. It just makes my blood boil when I see this here, because I'm not saying every child out there is like that. there's a lot of kids out there who are very respectful. I mean, I've met a lot of young ones who are like Lewis's age and a wee bit older, especially recently. Young ones come up and send me hello Matthew and being dead respectful, and I get messages from teenagers all the time on Instagram and stuff, emails and stuff saying like, I watch your videos and they're so respectful. But then you always get the ones that obviously don't give a shit. But it's I don't know, it's fucking absolutely crazy. But yeah, I when I read that story this morning, it was like, really? I don't know. I actually do give up when I read some of these stories now. It makes me scratch my head and go like, what is going on with this world around us? Another wee story I want to talk about today, guys, before I move on and head off into the sunset, and this is probably another strange one for you today. McDonald's workers have came out and spoke recently. A lot of, actually, from what I'm reading in the story this morning, McDonald's is a bit of hot water at the minute, saying a lot of their workers are coming forward about sexual abuse claims, which is interesting one to read this morning here. We'll be part of the article here to you now. It says here, toxic culture of sexual assault, harassment, racist and bullying claims have also been alleged by more than 100 of current and recent UK staff across the food chain of McDonald's, all across the UK. Some staff came forward as young as the age of 17 are accusing staff of being groped and harassed mostly daily. McDonald's have come out now and said that they're definitely apologetic about this situation and all issues are being investigated, which is a bit strange. Some of the incidents have come up here saying, here, I'll give you one here. A 17-year-old has come out, employee from Chester, or Chestershire, or whatever it's called, who says a colleague over 20 years her older has given her racial abuse on a regular occasions, and asked to show her his private parts. Oh my God! And said he wants to make a black and white baby with her. Jesus, that's a bit fucking extreme. It says here also a manager in Hampshire who suggested a 16-year-old male worker perform sexual acts in exchange for vapes. It's not good. Other ones here come out from Aberdeen. In Scotland, says a woman who has said she was called a slur word and subject to a racist joke at an Aberdeen branch, which continued on into constant racial abuse. There's other ones from Essex, Oxfordshire, also in Wales, all about sexual abuse as well. Also, this is the best one. This one here stood out for me the most, especially living in Northern Ireland myself. It says here, an outbreak of gonorrhea at a branch in Northern Ireland where sexual relations between staff members and all multiple staff members seem to have taken place within the branch. Holy shit. Sexual diseases in the fucking branch as well. That's absolutely insane. But McDonald's have come out and said that they're apologetic about the situations and they're all being investigated. What is going on with these fucking workplaces? Honest to God, it's mad. Absolutely fucking bonkers. So it is. They're either all fucking sleeping with each other or they're all being racist to each other. Fuck, when I used to go to work like that there, I worked in KFC when I was 17. When I went to work in KFC, I just went to work and done my job, kept my head down and went home. You know what I mean? I didn't bother. I just worked and said nothing. Now, I worked in retail for years. And you hear all these different things in retail stores and all now as well. But again, you have to be so careful now as an employer as well now and an employee for what you can and can't say. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's the slightest wee thing you say the wrong, you get hammered for it. It's mad. And again, obviously, there's the snowflakes out there now who are easily offended and all too as well, and they are obviously in their workplaces and all. And if you say the wrong thing a certain way, they run off to the manager and say you're being offensive or racist or whatever. You know, it's crazy. But that one there about McDonald's, like, fucking hell, man, what is going on with the world? Like, but that Northern Ireland branch, I wonder what branch that was. Fucking hell, well, they're having a fucking full scale orgy in fucking McDonald's. Unbelievable. That's actually all I want to talk about today, guys, in relation to some of the news and whatnot. So obviously I don't want to babble on too much today because, again, I want to try and get my mouth fully healed before I head off into the rest of my week. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much some of the wee stories I want to talk about today. I want to get into some of your questions now before I head down the road here for another episode. It's just some of the stories I've been reading over the last 24 to 48 hours, especially just trying to gather some stories for the podcast today, just makes me think to myself, like, what is going on with this world? Like, I mean, I love hearing from all you guys all the time about your different stories and walks of life, and you love to hear me talk about certain things, and there's things that I can talk about and things that I can't talk about because, again, legal reasons. I don't want anybody coming to my fucking door with a legal letter, you know what I mean? But here, listen, it's just the world we live in now, and this is why I've always said to people that I keep my circle of people in my life who I'm involved with very, 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 very small, because I always try and encourage my children as well, stay away from as less drama as you can, because nowadays you can get sucked into shit that you don't need to be sucked into, trust me. But hey ho. Right, let's get into some of your questions here before I head down the road here today, guys. Again, thank you for all your messages over the last weekend or week or so, or whenever you've sent me a message, I always do appreciate it. If you want to get in touch with the podcast, it's moorarmypodcast@yahoo.com, where you can contact me on the old social media as well, which I'd love to hear from you. Right, let's get into some of the emails first of all. Again, guys, it's moorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. Right, I have one here. It looks like it was sent to me on Sunday. So it was sent to me from a guy called Wayne. Wayne is from Belfast, so it's a local guy, Belfast. Hello, Wayne, how are you? Hey, Matthew, saw you at the football at the weekend. I was there with my 2 kids, was going to approach you, but my young lad wasn't feeling too great, so I had to leave the game early. I saw you and Lewis on the pitch at half time, just before I left the ground, and I'm glad to see you are doing very, very well. Disappointed I never got a chance to speak to you, as I love listening to your podcast every single week. I hope to get up to some of your local games throughout the season, and maybe even get to one of your pre-season games before the season kicks off itself. I am a big Linfield fan, and I enjoyed my first time experience at your new stadium, thanks to yourself telling us about the stadium itself. I thought I'd go along to have a look since my team were playing you guys, and it was such a great experience. The staff were so friendly, the stewards we were speaking to were so helpful, the burger van, which I thought was incredible. There, they do good burgers at our ground now, trust me. One of the best burgers in the country. But yes, it was great to see you. I was looking out for you and Lewis, and I saw you at halftime coming across the pitch. I saw you shaking hands with Jamie Mulgrew before you headed back up into the stand to record the game for the second half. I had to leave as my young son was not feeling great, but hopefully next time I'll get to speak to you in person. Hope you're glad to see you're doing well. I love listening to your podcast. Wayne from Belfast. Wayne, not a problem. I wish I had saw you, actually. I could have said hello to you. I hope your dad's doing okay. I hope he's feeling better. But yeah, it was nice. It was good to have him feel up there at the weekend. I was talking to Jimmy Mulgrew. I was actually winding him up because he's re-signed for the club for another year. I'm saying, like, oh, the old leg's not give up yet. And he went, no, still going. But yes, Wayne, if you ever are around again, please come up and say hello. I'd love to meet you and have a wee quick chat with you and stuff like that there. And again, I hope your wee lad, is doing well. But yeah, we had a good day on Saturday. So it was a good workout for the boys, and we're back to football tonight again, and tomorrow. The joys. There you are. Right, let's get into another one here on the old email, moorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. Let's have a look here and see. Okay, one here from Alan. Alan says, "Hey Matthew, just wanted to drop you a message and ask you a wee question. Growing up, or even in your life now, do you have any hobbies or any obsessions at the moment?" I know it's a bit of a random question, but I'm a hobby collector myself, as I like to collect model trains. Do you have any hobbies or anything you're obsessed with? Thanks for taking the time to listen to thank you for... I'm speak this morning. Thank you for reading my message. Keep up the good work, Alan. Can't even speak this morning. Any obsessions or hobbies? At the minute, I've mentioned this before in the podcast, I'm in the middle of collecting Funko Pops. I've been collecting them for the last 2 or so years, and I've got quite a lot of them actually. Obsessions, football and wrestling basically. I just love watching my wrestling every week, and my football. I just love football. That's my passion is football. Traveling. I love going to new places. Obsessions. Well, Brooke does say to me I'm obsessed with wrestling, but I've been watching wrestling since I was 4. So don't even get me started on that. just football and wrestling and spending time with the kids as much as I can, because I don't really get to see much of them anymore because they're doing their own thing. That's pretty much it, really. Growing up, it was the same. Just football, wrestling. That's all it was for me. Spend time with my friends. Don't really bother many people much more these days, to be quite honest, because, again, as I say, I keep my circle very, very, very small. But that's pretty much it all, to be quite honest with you. I live a very normal life when I'm not on YouTube or I'm not at football. I live a very quiet life when I'm at home, just sort of pattering about the house and doing my work and going to work and doing my other bits and bobs that I do. So that's pretty much it, really. But thanks for your email. Do appreciate it. I hope I've cleared that up for you. It don't sound too boring. You say you're a train collector or a model railway train collector. I know a few people actually I know have done that there. There's actually a model railway exhibition that's on in Bangor here every year, and some of the collections I've saw from some of the pictures over the years has been incredible. I'm not a collector myself, but again, I do see this guy on Instagram and TikTok and all keeps popping up. What's his name? Francis. And he's one of these train enthusiasts. A bit creepy sometimes, but he's passionate about it. And I've seen him popping up a couple of times. Not that I'm really into all that, but he comes across a bit weird sometimes. But again, he's popular online, so for train spotters and whatnot. So, but yeah, thanks for your question, Alan. I do appreciate it. I'll do one more of the emails here, guys, before we move on to social media. Let's have a look here. Michael. Hello, Michael. How are you? Michael, don't even say where he's from, just says, hi, Matthew. Just wanted to ask you for more opinions on this whole migrant situation here in the UK. I used to work on Border Patrol years ago, many, many years ago, but walked away from the job due to an illness. I see the news every single day, talk about the migrants coming into this country every single day, and it makes me so angry as a UK citizen, UK taxpayer, and more. I just wanted to know what your views of it is, and I am in the mainland England and would want to know what it's like for you in Northern Ireland. I know you talk about it on your podcast quite a bit, but what's the recent situation on your views on this? I would love to hear it. Okay, no problem. Michael, just as I was talking about this morning, I seen there was a wee thing popped up on the news this morning, which I was going to talk about this new place they've set up where they're bringing in 500 more of them and stuff like that. I've talked about it before, Michael. My views on it. If you're coming into this country legally, like everybody else, pay your taxes, work hard, whatever else, that's fine. If you're coming into this country illegally off a boat and you have no intentions of wanting to work and you want everything fucking handed to you, and you're coming in as a danger to this country, not just Northern Ireland, any other country like England, Scotland, Wales, Republic of Ireland, wherever, you're coming in to be a threat and causing problems, and you're going to be a danger to society, especially the younger generation, like kids, like my fucking kids too as well, then I got a problem with that. I've said this before, I have friends who are from the likes of the Philippines, Portugal, Spain. You know, a guy I know as here from the Philippines, I worked with him in the care home years ago, and I works in the Ulster Hospital. That man works his fucking ass off, so he does. He met a girl from over here, they got married, they had kids, he's bought his own home, he sends money back home to his own family, he works his ass off. So he does. That man works so many shifts, it is unreal. And fair play to him. You know what I mean? And other people I've known as well have come into the country, as soon as they've stepped off the plane, bang, straight into a job, working their ass off, paying their taxes like everything else. But then you look at this thing here, all these illegals coming off these boats, and they're being brought in, and they're fucking hundreds every day. It annoys me. You know what I mean? And I understand that some of them are coming from countries that are in situations where it's not good to live in. But you know, I've talked about it before, my view on it, and it's just annoying. It pisses me off, and they're letting them in every single fucking day of the week. My opinion, if I was Prime Minister, turn the boat round, send the bastards back. Just being straight to the point, send them back. They're illegals, send them back. All the ones in the hotels and all, get their paperwork checked. Illegal? No, you gonna work? No, out, bye, out the door. There's a hotel in my town down here, Michael, and it's filled with them. And there's been so many arrests, and especially in the last couple of weeks, arrests for, all different things you can think of, burglaries, trying to lure young girls as well into the hotel, burglaries, what else? There have been ones that even tried to attack people people being arrested for all different situations. And what's the council doing about it? Fuck all, because they're making money out of these hotels, and the people who own the hotels should be ashamed of themselves. Because I heard what payments they got, and I heard what payments they're getting all the time for each day for having them there. Same in Belfast, in the city as well. Hotels packed with them. Unbelievable. But again, this is our government. This is where they need to turn around and say, right, enough's enough. You're illegal. You're not supposed to be in this country. You're not going to work. You're not going to get yourself nationalised. Get out of our country. Bye-bye. Send them back. But then you'll get obviously the people saying, well, what about all they're coming from terrible situations? No, well, hold on a second. If we were to fucking illegally go into their country, would we get everything handed to them? Would we get put up in a 5-star hotel, 3 meals a day, paid money, best of clothes, mobile phones, everything handed to them? No. Would we come into their country and get all the benefits handed to them and houses and roof held over their fucking head and everything else paid for them? No. We'd be turned back round and sent back out of their country. Or we'd be sent home in a brown box. Straight to the point. And the bill for this is costing the taxpayer millions. Millions. They're saying yesterday it was costing like £6 million average a day for this. And all the problems that they're causing, running around streets with machetes, hurting people. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people that are coming off them boats who are legitimately nice, normal people, and they're coming here for a better life, and I understand that, and they will create themselves a better life, but it's the ones who are coming over, it's mostly young men coming over who are causing fucking issues. But again, I've talked about it before. I'm not going to go in on a rant again. But thank you for your question. I do appreciate it. You said you worked in Border Patrol before, but it wasn't as bad back then what it is now. I don't know how long ago was you working in Border Patrol, but I bet it wasn't as bad back then what it is now. We should be more like Australia. So strict. Don't let them in. Get rid of them. I always remember working for the passport office years ago, and I did say in the passport office when I worked there years ago that immigration is going to go through the roof. I used to crack a joke all the time saying, by 2020, 2025, there's going to be either a Indian descent or a Pakistani descent Prime Minister or Mayor of London. And I was right. Because it was a few months ago I ran into a friend of mine who I used to work in that office with, and I said, do you remember you always used to say that? And he used to go, yeah, I actually do remember you saying that. We always think you were mad. I was like, I'm telling you. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. The government is so corrupt in this whole UK, it's unreal. But what governments aren't corrupt? Moving on. Thanks for your question. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Guys, want to get an email to me? Matthew, MoorArmyPodcast@yahoo.com. I'll move on to social media now. I'll go into the Facebook page here and I'll take one from Facebook, one from Instagram, and then I'll head down the road, guys, because I got quite a lot on today as well, and my mouth's starting to feel a bit throbby too as well from all the talking I've been doing. I've been talking quite a lot of shit in this podcast. Anyway, let's go into the old Facebook here and have a look here and see. Right, I've one here from Lexi. That's right, Lexi, Lexi, Lexi. Let's have a look and see where she's from. Oh, South Dakota. Hello, Lexi. Hey, Matthew. Came across your YouTube channel 2 weeks ago, and I thought to myself I would give it a go to have a look at it. I must say, it's very entertaining. You've had some ups and downs over the last few years, and also fair play to you for bringing up your children alone. Your daughter is very, very beautiful, and your son is very, very funny. I am from South Dakota in the United States, and I've been watching this say for the last 2 weeks and thoroughly enjoyed it. I came across your podcast last week, and I've been listening to a few of your episodes, and I agree with a lot of stuff you say, and also I agree with some of the stuff, don't agree with some of the stuff that you say as well. But what I do agree with you is that it's good to have an open debate and let your listeners be involved with the podcast. So I hope this message reaches you in good health. Keep up the good work. I will continue to watch on from South Dakota in the United States. Okay, Lexi. Thank you. Lexi from South Dakota. Woohoo. Hello, Lexi from South Dakota, far, far away. How are you? You've only came across the podcast a week ago. But yes, you did make a good point in that message there. You did say about, open debate. and let the listeners get involved, which is great. I again, you said you agree with some stuff that I talk about. You did say you disagree with some stuff I talk about, and that is absolutely fine with me. I am here to have an open debate with people, talk about it, and at the end of the day, I get a lot of hate mail, I get a lot of nice mails, I get people who are going through all different walks of life, and I get people who just deliberately don't like me and say, I hate everything you say. Well, that's your opinion. That's your view. But yeah, I it's great to hear from you. And, you say you listen to some stuff that you listen, obviously, and you agree with some stuff that I say and some stuff that I don't say. And that's great. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's all about a debate. And that's what I build this platform on this podcast for, is for people to contact me and say, look, listen, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? I don't agree with what you said this. I don't agree with what you said about that. What's your view on this? That's what it's all about. That's why I asked everybody to contact me every week, to let me, hear what you have to say. Because I love hearing from you. Every single week, I love hearing from you. Love it. So I do. But yes, Lexi, thank you for your message. I do appreciate it, all the way from South Dakota. I'm off to the States next year with Lewis to Philadelphia for WrestleMania. Back to the States for the first time since 2008, which I'm looking forward to. We're going to start getting stuff getting things put into place for that. Which we're actually, funny enough, we were looking at yesterday, before I went to bed. Last night, Lewis and I were talking about WrestleMania and tickets when they go on sale, and we're going to try and get something sorted out about the flights and stuff. So, and then we get Lewis a passport. So, yep, Brooke doesn't want to go next year to America. I've said to her, she's not wise in the fucking head. Like, why would I do America for? It's all about wrestling. No, we're going to Philadelphia, not just for that. We're going to go and sightsee and do all the different things and try a Philadelphia cheesesteak, proper one. All the different stuff. But she doesn't want to go. She's 18 now. You know what I mean? So, but yes, Lexi, thanks for your message. I do appreciate it. And you said you came across the YouTube channel. There's fucking 2,500 videos to watch here, and there's content from everything you can think of, and then there's loads of podcasts as well. So, thank you for the message. I do appreciate it, and hope I keep me ranting and raving every week entertains you. So, thanks again. Appreciate it. Let's get on to Instagram, and then we'll head down the road, guys. Let's have a look here and see. I just love hearing from you guys on Instagram, on Facebook, and everywhere else, apart from Twitter, because Twitter's full of fucking mentals. I'd never be back on Twitter again. I actually remember reading a message the other day on Instagram, people saying like, would you ever go back to Twitter again? No, never. Not a million years. Definitely not. I'd rather jumping off the pier here in Bangor with breeze blocks tired in my feet to go back on Twitter again. Twitter's full of fucking lunatics. Oh dear, right, let's have a look here on Instagram. Let's have a look here and see. Right, I've one here from Donna. Let's have a look here and see if it sees where she's from. Nope, doesn't say, it just says Donna. Donna has wrote to me on Instagram saying, "Hi Matthew, hope you are well. Love listening to your podcast every single week. It makes me laugh." If you could see me sometimes when I'm recording this podcast first thing in the morning, the way I look in the morning, I will be funny. I'll be not funny to listen to, funny fucking looking. Oh dear. Well, she goes on here to say, just Matthew, love your podcast every single week. Love listening to it when I'm out on my walk with my doggy. Okay. It's really interesting to hear you talk about all the different things that goes on in the world, and to hear you ranting and raving. Also here to listen to your stories about your past. I know you've been through quite a lot over the last few years as you tell your stories regularly, and I love listening to them, and I encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, because I love listening to you every single week. Well, Donna, thank you very much for that. I do appreciate it. And you've also sent me a wee photograph here on the message as well of you and your wee doggy, which looks like a wee Shih Tzu, is it? That looks like a wee Shih Tzu dog, grey and white. So yeah, actually looks quite cute. I'm not sure what the Burke, because Burke will probably try and steal your dog. But yes, thank you very much for your message. I do appreciate it. Your wee dog actually does look really cute. So, but I'm sure you can listen to something probably better than listening to me whenever you're out doing your walk with your dog. No, I'm only kidding. But listen, thank you very much, Darren, for your message. I do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Yeah, you didn't even say the name of your wee dog, but whatever your wee doggy is, let me know what your wee dog's called, actually, because I may actually show a photograph to Brooke, because Brooke loves all wee dogs like that. She'd probably be like, I want that wee dog, it's so cute. I'm like, no. Speaking of animals, here, forgot to say about it actually before I go. We got a visit last night from our old cat. People keep asking me all, like, man again, like, where'd your old cats go? Well, the boy cat, Tigger, he's dead. I found out a few months ago, he actually was dead. That's what I was told. He was found in one of the big backfields up the road. He was just a nasty piece of work. We would have had to get rid of him anyway if he didn't run away. He was just nasty to the core. Chloe, who decided to move herself up the street to one of the neighbours' houses, and the neighbour just asked could they take her on. I was like, well, if she's not going to come back home again, we'll just have to wait and see what she decides. But Chloe was here last night at our house. She called up last night to see us, and Brooke was just back in from seeing her friend for her birthday. Grace, by the way, who turns 18, by the way. Hello, happy birthday, Grace. I'll be seeing you probably in the next couple of days. But yeah, she's 18 now, I can't believe it. But yeah, she was just back in the yard last night there, and it was just before I went to bed, because I was feeling exhausted with those bloody antibiotic tablets in me. And Brooke was like, Dad, there's Chloe. Chloe's back. She pops her head up every so often, every week or two. She pops her head up to the fence and comes up and says hello, and we see her and play with her for a wee bit and give her a bit of food and say hi, and then away she goes again. But she was there last night, and she rolled around the ground all like a fucking numpty, and Brooke was at the front stroking her and rubbing her belly and having a laugh with her and all, and then off she went again. I think she prefers to be a bit of a free spirit, so I do. But she was a lovely wee cat, so she's had babies and all now too as well, and that's the first time I've seen her in about a couple of weeks, so but Brooke sees her all the time. But she was down last night saying hi, so if anybody out there who wants to know where they were, there's an update for you. But anyway, yes, I'm going to go and get more painkillers into me, because it's been 4 hours now since I've had a painkiller, so I'm going to get some more, because my mouth's feeling a bit, not sore, but just throbbing, because I've been talking so much for the last hour or so. And then I'm going to also go and get ready for football and stuff tonight, because Lewis and I are off to football tonight. We're playing Warrenpoint Town in Belfast, and then tomorrow night we're playing Rosemount at our place. So 2 matches in 2 nights. Flipping joys. Nightmare. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go here now. So once again, if you want to get in touch with the Moore Army Podcast, you can certainly do it by the email, moorearmypodcast@yahoo.com. Also, if you want to contact us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Reels, something like that on Instagram. I'm on there too as well. You can contact me on there as well. And don't forget the website, guys, for all your merchandise, moorearmy.co.uk for all your merch, all the previous podcasts, YouTube videos, everything we've done over the last 7.5 years. It's all on there, moorearmy.co.uk. Right, I'm going to go. So, guys, until Thursday, hopefully I'm feeling a bit better. The antibiotic will obviously do a bit more work to it. I feel a bit better, hopefully on Thursday. And hopefully this Thursday I can actually get a beer and chill out. So I can, but we'll have to see. And Jackass of the Week is back on Thursday as well, guys. If you have any suggestions for Jackass of the Week, you know how to get in touch with me. Right, I'm going to go. So stay tuned for some of the vlogs coming up over the next day or two as well, guys. I got some stuff coming up where Dad and I and Lewis were out the other day. Funny enough, we're actually at Argos. We were talking about Argos earlier on. Returning something, and also we're in Sainsbury's doing a bit of funny shopping. Also, Lewis dragged my ass out to Asda. Oh god, well, looking for a bloody prime drink. Don't even get me started on that. I've also got footage of Lewis trying YouTuber's Mr. Beast chocolate for the first time, and also got footage of Dad at the MOT centre for this car. Trust me, some funny stuff coming up for the next day or two. Now I've got more motivation to do it, because obviously the tooth's obviously being controlled now with these antibiotics, so hopefully I can get those videos out for you. Anyway, guys, until Thursday, enjoy your Tuesday and your Wednesday, and I will see you back here for another episode of the Moore Army Podcast. So until Thursday, I will see you all then, guys. Thanks for listening.